I would like to introduce my first guest to you. She's a TV presenter, she's a broadcaster, an activist, a producer, an empowerment expert. She works for BBC and ITV. She runs the website Wonder Women and Wonder Women TV. She's a Jack or Jane of all trades. Please welcome from the UK, Ria Hebden.
Thank you for having me.
Hi. Okay, so I just said that you have this wonderful thing called Wonder Women TV and Wonder Women. Maybe you can tell us about that. What kind of women are the Wonder Women?
Wonder Women is an inspirational network of a diverse range of women who are very diverse in age, in ethnic background and in experience, but they predominantly work in television in the sector and across the creative industries, either in freelance production roles or in corporate roles within the major broadcasters or production companies.
Mm-hmm. And what advice can you give us for building a supporting network? How did you do it?
Well, I created Wonder Women because I personally felt that there was a real lack of networks and women championing each other. I mean, I created it back in 2016 at a time where we didn't have mentoring programs and we didn't have panels that had really inspirational businesswomen sharing their stories and talking about how they got to where they are in their careers. So that's what spurred me to set it up. And it's been wonderful to see it evolve and grow. So I would encourage everyone to look for these female networks that are out there. We've got the Women in Film and Television Network, which is global, obviously Wonder Women, but more and more are starting to pop up now, which is brilliant. It really feels like there's a moment for women this year.
Mm-hmm. You have a lot of experience in front of the camera. What are, in your opinion, the most common obstacles that women, if women want to get into presenting or in front of the camera in general?
Well, there are a couple of things. I think one of the main challenges with wanting to get into television and be a presenter is obviously it's very competitive. But there are a few institutional things, I think, within the industry that can hold a lot of talented people back. And it can take some real resilience for those people to stick at it to actually get through. And I worry that a lot of people might actually just give up altogether because it can be so hard. One of those things I would say is there can be a lot of wasted meetings with people. You know, if you're very lucky and you manage to get time with producers or commissioners, sometimes it can feel like there's no clear agenda or there's no clear next step, and you have your meeting but then you're lost into the ether. Also, institutionally, I would say that there seems to be this thinking that you need to have an agent. And I worry that there are lots of people out there who are really talented that miss out on opportunities because they just don't have that representation, which I think is a real shame, because I actually managed to get myself on screen without having an agent. And so I just think, that's a damaging message that we're putting out to aspiring presenters, that maybe make them feel that it's not possible for them, and we could really avoid doing that.
Thank you. We all know that there are lots of stereotypes when it comes to women in television and film. What are the most annoying stereotypes that we have to overcome in the film and media business, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think we do stereotype women who are mothers. And I think we really need to be careful about that, because I think people pass judgment onto you and to others, assuming what you're capable of, because they assume that you might not be able to manage your family and your caring responsibilities without actually ever working with you before, And I think that's a really worrying thing that we need to stop altogether, because I've been lucky enough to work alongside some incredible female women throughout my career who happen to be mothers, but you'd never know had they not told you, because they're so driven and so good at what they do. And so I worry sometimes that the decision makers who sometimes choose if you are quite literally hired or not, if they discover that you're a parent, sometimes that unconscious bias can hold you back and they might not pick you for the role, which I think can be hugely damaging.
And as a woman of color, what do you think about opportunities today, especially in the UK or maybe also in Europe or globally?
I think we're definitely having a real moment for diversity. There's a huge drive happening globally in improving diversity. I think the McKinsey & Co report has proven time and time again, It makes good business sense for all businesses to be diverse. It should just be in their DNA. But that shouldn't even be the reason. It should be just because it's the right thing to do. As a company, you're going to reap people with more experience, better stories, better expertise if you diversify your workforce. So it's an exciting time, but I'm also conscious of being realistic, because people who are older than me and have been in the industry even longer tell me time and time again that there are always these waves of moments where there's these initiatives to drive and improve diversity, but then it peters down. And so, it makes me think, what can we do now to ensure that this isn't just a fleeting moment, that it actually really does impact and instigate long-lasting change?
So you think it's changing, yes, but maybe not fast enough, or what would you say? Is it changing?
I think things are definitely changing. In the UK, you can see that there's obvious improvements in terms of on-screen diversity. The broadcasters are doing it really well, especially ITV and the BBC. But I still think there's a lot of work to do behind the screen. The crew are not as diverse as they could be. On the productions that I've worked on, I've been really pleased to see more women in camera roles, actually doing sound and getting involved, which is brilliant. But again, there's still so much more that could be improved.
Would you say that the Black Lives Matter movement is also of big importance in the UK and in Europe, or what kind of importance does it have?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a real moment for everyone in the world to relook at the structures in society, the institutions, and really question if they are working effectively and if they are fair. I think it's a real moment for everybody to really overhaul some of the structures that have been holding a lot of people back for many, many years. And I just think, as a business leader, this is actually an exciting opportunity to tap into new talent that maybe you've not worked with before, and give new opportunities and see, the benefits that you'll bring on your business by doing that.
Yeah, let's stay maybe with this positive thinking. Which best practices in terms of empowerment of women, especially maybe women of color, do you know in UK or in Europe?
Sorry, I missed that.
Which best practices do you know in terms of empowerment of women? Are there any positive examples?
Yeah, absolutely. When you put women in positions of power, like commissioning, you can see the benefits for the broadcaster, but also for the audience, because we see new stories being told. For example, Fatima Salaria, an absolutely brilliant commissioner. She worked at the BBC. She then moved over to Channel 4 as the head of specialist factual. She's now gone over to Fremantle, and she's doing amazing things. She's just been announced as, I think, the executive chair of the Edinburgh TV Festival, which is just amazing. I mean, it just shows you when people are empowered, what they're capable of achieving, furthermore from there. And I'm really excited to see how she'll mix things up for the festival next year, with her, having a key role in that.
Maybe you can tell us something about your experiences when you presented the Diversified TV Excellence Award in Cannes 2 years ago, and also about the subject awards as such. Can awards like this change society, or can they at least maybe raise a kind of awareness?
It was a real pleasure to host the Diversified TV Awards in Cannes back in 2018. This brought together some of the executive producers from all over the world to show some of their films and TV programs and really celebrate diversity. The problem for me, though, as the host of that event, was what I felt was there was a brilliant energy in the room of creative minds coming together and celebrating each other's work. But I think what would have been more productive, and maybe that's a suggestion for the festival going forward, is to have different commissioners from the broadcasters attend that event, because in that room, everybody was already invested in improving diversity. So I think to really instigate real change, you have to bring in new people where it's just not part of their thinking, so that then they're thinking differently going back into their roles. It's interesting what you say about awards and if they're effective and how you change them. Having been on the judging panel for the Royal Television Society, for the TV Awards, and also for the Women in Film and Television Network Awards, I think it's very important that the people around the table in those spaces are diverse, because we know that when people win awards, they get more commissions, they get more industry kudos. So it's important that to really open it out, to allow new talent to come in and for new stories to be told and for new people to be recognised, that the people around the judging table are diverse too. BAFTA's doing a very good job. They've just opened up their membership, but more broadly, so we're seeing more diverse members there. So it'll be interesting to see how that impacts the nominations for future awards going forward.
Yes, and you said that already. We have to change a lot of different things, but maybe tell us what to change first. The boards, or the funding, or the networks, or the people's minds, what would you say?
Well, I think, the power sits with senior management at commissioner level, that senior decision-making level. You need to address that for everything else to trickle down. There's lots of brilliant work being done on the entry-level units with the RTS, with BAFTA, with all of the broadcasters. So, it's not the entry level, it's more the mid-senior level. That's where we're seeing a stagnation, and that's where there's so much work still to be done. I think ring-fencing money is really effective. It shouldn't be necessary, but I think let's give it a go. The same with quotas. I think if it makes things change more quickly, then let's give it a go.
Or maybe as a last question, is there any kind of advice you could give for women who want to, do the same thing or almost the same thing that you do? Some nice and easy, hint?
Oh my goodness. I would say the best thing you can do is identify somebody in the industry who's quite senior and successful, who you admire, who could potentially be a sponsor for you. Because having sponsors and mentors in this industry are worth their weight in gold. You need people in those rooms fighting your corner and throwing your name in the hat, and tap into the networks that are out there, because there are some brilliant networks, as I've mentioned, the RTS, BAFTA, Wonder Women, of like-minded people, very creative, who all want to help elevate each other. And this is an industry, it's an exciting place to be. It can sometimes feel like you're on your own, and by tapping into those networks, you can feel very much part of a family.